The boy who used to practice basketball in the garage for a long time has become the Stephen Curry in his own story on applause-filled nights this season. Since the start of this season, Payton Pritchard has been amazing. Facing the Milwaukee Bucks, he made 8 of 12 three-pointers and scored 28 points. Facing the Charlotte Hornets, he made 6 of 12 three-pointers and scored 22 points. Facing the Los Angeles Clippers, he made 6 of 10 three-pointers and scored 20 points. In the most recent game against the Chicago Bulls, he played the best game of the season so far. He scored 19 points in just half a quarter in the fourth quarter, and made 7 of 11 three-pointers to score a season-high 29 points, 7 rebounds and 1 assist. The most difficult player to defend for the Celtics this season is not Jason Tatum, nor Jaylen Brown, but Payton Pritchard, who is only 6 feet 1 inch tall. 3 years ago, he couldn't even make the rotation, but this season he has become one of the most comprehensive scorers in the defending champions. Pritchard achieved such success by hard work and a pair of hands that were rubbed by basketball countless times and covered with blood. In high school, during a practice session with the West Lynn High School basketball team, Pritchard suddenly asked the coach if he could go to the infirmary. Then he spread his hands, which were covered with wounds and blood. The coach wanted him to go home and rest, but a few minutes later, Pritchard returned to the court wrapped in medical bandages as if nothing had happened. Afterwards, the coach learned from his family that every day before dawn, Pritchard's parents were often awakened by a loud noise downstairs. This was the sound of Pritchard practicing basketball in the garage. And the basketball he used for training was a specially made weighted basketball. Even though the garage was very cold in winter and the ball was very hard, Pritchard still insisted on training. Over time, bleeding fingers have become a common occurrence for him. Pritchard's father is a basketball coach and her mother was a volleyball player in college. The strong sports family atmosphere made him fall in love with basketball. But the lack of innate conditions made Pritchard need to work several times harder than ordinary people. When he was 10 years old, Pritchard developed a habit. No matter how late or tired he played yesterday, he would get up early on time the next day. When his teammates entered the court one after another, Pritchard's clothes were already soaked with sweat. During the training break, others were panting heavily on the sidelines, and when he was resting, he would quietly walk to the corner, wrap the resistance band around his waist, and sprint with all his strength. After the training, he would still stay in the gym for a few hours to practice. In the long run, sometimes Pritchard's sweat in a day could make him change a full 5 sets of training clothes. His childhood friend lamented that Pritchard's training volume at the age of 10 was already at the level of college or even professional athletes. In high school, Pritchard led his team to win 4 state championships, and also opened the door of the University of Oregon, becoming a household name in the local area. In his senior season, he was unanimously selected to the All-American First Team. When he was a student, Pritchard was the best point guard of his age group, and the NBA naturally became his goal. But campus basketball and professional basketball are worlds apart. Even though his college resume was extremely brilliant, Pritchard's shortcomings were still infinitely magnified in the NBA scout report: too short, lack of athleticism, too short wingspan, and too old. He didn't know if he could get the recognition of the NBA team. Even on the day of the draft, Pritchard wanted to run back to the familiar training ground in a panic. But fortunately, his efforts have always been noticed. The Celtics conducted an in-depth investigation of his past before the draft. Danny Ainge said that many people recommended Pritchard to him. Pritchard has a crazy passion for improving his skills. This young man's extreme desire to pursue victory is what the Celtics need. In 2020, the Celtics selected Payton Pritchard with the 26th pick in the first round. Coming to a team that is always a favorite to win the championship, he knows that it is not easy to get a chance to play in official games, so he will participate in any game that can show himself. On the court, as a point guard, he is never afraid to fight with anyone. He said that as long as the ball is in the air, as long as he can touch it, he can catch it. Off the court, during the off-season, he will give his all to every opportunity to play. In a summer pro-am game in Portland, he scored 92 points and became a hot topic in the United States. The Celtics have a very special training, which is to let Pritchard dribble the ball across the court, and others will press him again and again. Jrue Holiday once said in an interview that Jason Tatum is not the most difficult player to defend in the team now, but Payton Pritchard is. This season, Pritchard has scored 296 points, the highest score among all substitute players. The height of 6 feet 1 inch cannot be determined by oneself, but skillful dribbling and accurate three-pointers are possible with one's own efforts, and Payton Pritchard has achieved the ultimate. In countless mornings when he defeated the god of sleep, in a dilapidated garage, the boy's fingers were rubbed with blood by the basketball, and a layer of tender new skin was shed, and calluses grew. Although talent is limited, effort is unlimited. Payton Pritchard uses one heart-stirring performance after another to tell everyone how ordinary people can surpass themselves and have an extraordinary life.